Yo, what's poppin' YouTube? It's me, Royal, back at it with another video, and here today I'm gonna be talking about Piccolo and Super Saiyan Goku from the new All-Star banner. So yeah, if you're new to the channel, subscribe. I'm trying to grow, as well as leave a like, comment down below your thoughts on the two units. And as you guys hear, I finally got the new mic, so let me know down in the comments below how's my audio quality and stuff like that. You guys will let me know, I hope. Anyway, I'm gonna start with Piccolo, but before I start with Piccolo, I'm gonna just say these two units, especially like their color, so Piccolo being red and the Goku being yellow, I think those two colors are the perfect colors for them because for their main teams pretty much. So Piccolo is mainly going to be used in Regen, while this Goku, I think he's mainly going to be used in Super Saiyan. So I think, in my opinion, let me know down in the comments below if you guys agree that I think that these two units are the perfect color for their teams. Anyway, let's start with Piccolo. So with his main ability, right, he has a really good main ability. He gets an ult. Oh, by the way, these two characters do have an ult, so that's really good. He has an ult. He gains health by 15%. And key, so he has the modern main ability, as well as he actually restores his own vanishing gauge by 100%. So he's kind of got the Zenkai Blue Goku or the LF Zenkai Piccolo effect, where when you press the main ability, he gains his restoration vanish gauge by 100%. So that's kind of cool right there. So especially since main abilities are time stop abilities, so you get to see what your opponent's doing. If you don't have a vanish, you pop the main. You could obviously vanish, since your vanishing gauge is restored back to 100%. Or when you press the main, they're doing something, you have a Rising Rush available for you. You can also Rising Rush, and you also get your vanishing back. So when you kill somebody with the Rising Rush, you have your vanishing gauge right because you pop the main, and then you could dodge whatever they're gonna try to do to you. All right. So when he enters the battle, he draws a strike card. He gains 30 key. He has 50% damage inflicted cannot be canceled, reduced damage received by 20%. A lot of these units have either 50, 60, 70, 80, or 90 inflicted damage, as well as reduced damage received by 20 or 30% when they enter the battle. So that's kind of like, it's a modern unit thing, but I wish his damage inflicted should have been a little bit more higher. And another thing too that he has in his first unique is, depending on the remaining enemy battle members, 3 battle members, he has 60% damage inflicted, 2 will be 50, and then 1 will be just 30% damage inflicted. And obviously the effect will reset after character switches. But the thing is he's a character you want to have at point, especially with his second main ability by him. Pretty much the following effect about start for 80 timer counts, him having card draw speed, which can't be cancelled, as well as reduced damage received by 20%, as well as minus 20% to enemy sustained cut effects, which also cannot be cancelled. So he has to be point. You have to start off with him, because after 80 counts, he's gonna lose the card draw speed. He's gonna lose the extra tankiness that he will have, even though he won't be that much tanky, but you have to, he kind of like a modern Golden Frieza, I should say, because Golden Frieza, he has the same thing. Instead of 80 is 60 counts, where he pretty much is a really good unit. He's still solid now, but I mean, obviously he has aged tremendously. But this Piccolo is pretty much the modern day Golden Frieza as a strike oriented unit. So that's the thing. As well as one cool feature as well is he also has like a anti-revival mechanic, where when he kills a revival unit, he gains 20% damage inflicted. He destroys enemy's card, and also inflict -1 to the card draw speed to for 15 timer count, which is really good, because not only pretty much after they revive, they won't have cards, as well as -1 card draw speed. So it'll take like a count pretty much for them to draw a card. So that's really good right there, as well as his blue card and his ultimate dealing massive damage. And his green card is solid, where when he activates it, he pretty much gains 20% strike damage, cancels enemy attribute upgrades, as well as inflict the enemy upgrades plus 25 damage received. So he's gonna do even more damage, and it combos off with everything pretty much. and he's gonna do pretty good. As well, his ultimate dealing 50% ultimate damage, which is really good, as well as sealing blast cards for 5 tournament guys. So him as a unit, especially for region's sake, especially since the main 2 red units that they use is Corrupted Zamasu and Perfect Cell, the Revival Cell. Problem with Zamasu, he's only buffed for powerful opponents, which doesn't buff Piccolo's, because I love Piccolo, he's not a powerful opponent since now he's a good guy. He's quote unquote a good guy, I should say, during the Saiyan Saga, and as well as this Piccolo, he's not a powerful opponent either. So that's the only drawback about Zamasu. And then Revival Cell, he has age, so even though he does have a powerful mechanic, which is the Revival mechanic, he's still gonna get 1, 2, or 3 carded pretty much. So that his Revival mechanic is kind of useless, especially now with Gogeta being buffed, LFL coming out. A lot of these units who have really good anti-revival mechanics. Even this Piccolo has a solid anti-revival mechanic. So I think, especially now, he's definitely the worst out of the all revival units, which is obvious. Which is obvious. But I think this Piccolo will easily just fit in region nicely. It's just that the problem with region that they have so many good units, so it's going to be a little bit difficult for him to be brought up, knowing that they have characters like DKP, LF Piccolo, Kid Buu, the Cell as well. So they have a lot of Fat Buu, and let me not disrespect Fat Buu, because Fat Buu is extremely valuable, but they have a lot of great units, so it's going to be hard to bring this Piccolo into the battlefield unless they have a heavy or a very strong yellow unit. So yeah, other than that, and the Piccolo Z Ability at 6-star, when you pull him, you're gonna have him 6-star because you're gonna buy the mission. I will hope you do, right? But 30% strike attack and defense for region and sagas from the movie, as well as an extra 15% to blast attack if they're both in sagas from the movies as well as region. So Z Ability really good, but overall, the second part of his Z Ability is pretty much gonna buff him or Lord Slug whenever we have a new Lord Slug, or whenever a Zenkai version of the blue one, which he is due for a Zenkai anyway, but when he gets a Zenkai. So let's move on to the Goku now, which this Goku is actually really solid. So let's talk about him real quick. Alright, so Goku, he's a very interesting unit. So let's start with his main. So he draws the ult. He restores 40 ki. He restores allied health by 10%. He restores his own health by an additional 15% per defeated battle member. So depending on how many battle members are defeated, he could gain up to 40% health, as well as reduce enemies ki by 50. So he has a very interesting main ability, because if he's last man standing, he'll gain 40% health, but if he's by himself, he only gonna gain the 10%, but his allies is also gonna gain 10% health. So that's really solid right there. And obviously he gains ki, and he also reduces enemies ki by 50%, by 50 I should say. And that's good, because when you, like I stated, main abilities are time stop, right? So you can see what your opponent is doing if they launches like an arts card. Pretty much you pop the main, and pretty much if they uses a strike, all they have left is 30 ki, so that'll be a blast arts or a strike card. If they use a blast, then it will only be a strike card, unless they have abilities where they reduce their arts cost. So solid main ability all around. But he deals 25% damage against LOE, you know, best team in the game, right? You know. Anyway, when he enters the battlefield, he gains allied health. He restores it by 5%, activates 5 times, so that's more healing capability for your allies, which is kind of unique, right? He has good cohesion with the team that he's running with, which is Super Saiyans, and him restoring the the health of the characters makes it very, very good for the team, especially like the Super Saiyan's team in terms of like cohesiveness. Besides Bardock buffing them, is not they don't synergize very well, right? And the fact that this Goku, even though he doesn't technically buff Super Saiyan, he buffs Saiyan. So if you're running the Holy Trinity variant, which is, you know, it's an okay variant, you know. I think the Hybrid Saiyan's Super Saiyan variant is the best variant, but if you run the Holy Trinity variant though, I think this Goku will fit extremely well with that type of variant, especially since he is buffing Saiyans. And if you run the Holy Trinity variant, all the characters that in that variant are Saiyans. So good right there. He gains 80% damage inflicted, the standard. Reduce the damage received is by 30, which is also standard because, like I stated before, with the Piccolo, they're either gonna have 20, 30, or 40. So, but this is the cool thing about him right here, is every time a battle member is hit with an enemy's arts card, pretty much. So, with a strike blast, special move, ultimate or awakens arts card, not a green card though. He gains 10% damage inflicted up to 40%. Cannot be canceled, I should say, and it's permanent, right? He also gains 10% special move damage inflicted for 30 timer counts, and he also gains card draw speed by 1 for 15 timer counts. So, for example, if your opponent chains 4 cards together, right? He's gonna gain the 40% damage inflicted, which cannot be canceled. I already stated that. He's gonna gain 40% special move damage, and he's also gonna gain level 4 card draw speed. Like, that's kind of ridiculous, right? He could just combo on forever and ever, and depending on what point of the game you are, he could easily just rush Rising Rush, farm Rising Rush, let's just say, as well as he could use his main ability and chain even more combos into his ult. So that unique ability is extremely good. And remember, even if they have units that just combo on forever, it's an unlimited stack, pretty much, for that timer count window. So you could potentially, depending on if you're facing against Super Saiyan 3K Goku, the GT one, you could potentially have up to 5 to 6 or even 7 card draw speed, depending on the small timer count window, depending on that. So that's kind of crazy if you really think about it, right? And then he also gains more support capabilities, where he gives allies 15% damage inflicted when the battle starts, as well as he has a cover cut against strike cards. So that's kind of cool. He does a little when Cooler punches him, and then he's just like, "Rrr!" So he does that. That animation is kind of cool, I'm not gonna lie. As well as he reduces damage received by 30% until combos end. Nullify abnormal condition for 10 timer counts, as well as reduces enemy ki by 30. So he has some like toolkits where he just reducing your enemy's ki. So on the main and then on cover. So cool stuff. His blue card shortens massive, and then shortens allies sub count by 2. His green card AoE, which is kind of crazy. He restores ki by 40 minus 5 to arts cards. Arts cost for 10 timer counts, and then he inflicts attribute downgrades plus 30% strike damage received for 15 timer counts. So, like I said, it's an AoE, so that's really good. And then ultimate massive plus 40% ultimate damage for 3 counts, and an additional 30% ultimate damage per defeated battle member for 3 counts. So kind of good, right? As well as he also holds 2 strike cards, and one of them that holds plus 20% to strike damage inflicted for 2 timer counts. So yeah, good. And then Z Ability 30% to Saiyans strike attack and blast defense. So it's a little similar to Zenkai Super Saiyan 3, where he gains his ability is strike attack and blast defense. It's kind of similar to that, but for this guy is 30% strike attack and blast defense, as well as 50% to characters Saiyans and Saga from the movie strike defense. So like I stated, if you're running the Holy Trinity team, Gogeta, Zenkai 7, the Brolys, they're in both Saiyan and Saga from the movies, so they're gonna get that buff. So yeah, so my opinion on these two overall, very good units. But I'm also gonna make another video about should you summon. It's gonna be a short, and I'm gonna be explaining should you summon or should you not summon, which PS wink wink, you shouldn't summon unless you're a regen or a Super Saiyan main. So yeah, that's it for the video. Thank you for watching. A little long discussion, but I'm just happy to be back with my new mics. So yeah, let me know down in the comments below your thoughts on the two units. And yeah, my name is Royal. You guys have a good one. Stay safe, stay hydrated. Peace.